I would like to have been known as that stud, I think, more than that nerd.
There are things about this movie process that Fox probably doesn't want me to say.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
The movie never made a profit, so thanks for helping them maybe get their money back.
Has the movie still never made a profit?
No, it's never made a profit.
We made the thing for $1.25.
Yeah, I know.
And it hasn't made a profit.
One guy was like, hey, you still in that movie? I'm like, no, I got erased from every copy.
My movie career went right in the dumper. I never worked again.
If it weren't for Revenge of the Nerds, the comedies today wouldn't exist.
There would be no comedies in film at all.
Is that gay guy really gay?
But then I thought, Joe gave it to me and he's trying to help me, and you know, my career is not skyrocketing, so I just better read it. And within 3 pages, I thought, I like this thing, and I connect to this thing. I know what it's like to walk onto a campus and feel like an outcast, because that was my experience when I went to Columbia. I got to school and I thought, everybody here knows each other and are good buddies except for me. That I called Joe and I said, okay, you know, I like this, I could do this. And he said, well, there's a problem. I tried to get the producers not to see your other movies, but they looked at them and they don't want to talk to you. So I said, oh, that's a problem. He said, but I've insisted that they take a meeting with you.
Thank you for applying to Delta Kappa Gamma. We've gone over your application, and it wasn't even close.
I get a phone call from Joe. He said, yeah, he goes, I think you made one mistake. I said, what was that? He said, you said Risky Business was a better movie than Animal House.
To this day, Animal House is probably one of my all-time favorite movies. I love that movie.
I love Animal House, but I do think Risky Business was, for me, a better movie. It was richer, it was got more texture, deeper characters, and it was funny, and it was sexy. I said, so that was a problem? He said, well, what kind of a movie are you going to make from nerds? And I said, well, the best movie I can. He said, but no, what kind of a movie are you going to make? I said, you mean, am I going to make it more like Risky Business than Animal House? And he said, what kind of a movie do you want to make? I said, Joe, I think you're trying to get me to say, Animal House, sir. But I just can't say that. I'll make the best movie I can, but I'll try to give it as much texture and color and depth and character as I can. And he just kept asking me the same question.
It was pretty ecstatic, frankly, you know. Just to be the lead, and it seemed like, in my book, you know, certainly there was more money behind it than anything else that I had done in the film category.
When I first got Revenge of the Nerds, I remember thinking, okay, I'm so excited to be doing a movie. I'll do any movie, almost.
Most of the actors in that movie did not want to be in it.
But I was too embarrassed to say Revenge of the Nerds. You know, it was just, I said Revenge of the Nerds.
I didn't even want to say the title when people asked me what I was doing. Well, I'm doing this movie in Arizona, and it's, you know, well, which one is it? Well, you know, it's a college freshman thing, you know, at the jocks and stuff. You mean Revenge of the Nerds? Yeah, that one. I didn't even want to say it because it's just, you know.
Bobby Carradine had to be dragged kicking and screaming to audition. Didn't want to audition. He didn't really want to be in the movie. I mean, I don't know if he said this to me or I assumed it, but at some point I thought, Bobby would probably beat up nerds. He's not a nerd.
They talked me into coming in, but that's where I was at. Mel wouldn't play a nerd. I'm not playing a nerd.
I was a nerd, so it wasn't too much of a stretch for me.
Please answer when I call out your names. Poindexter, Arnold.
I got the audition to read for Gilbert and didn't get it. And about a month later, I got a call to read for Arnold Lipschultz was his name. My wife said, take it, we need the money, and that's where I was.
I had done Risky Business in Chicago the year before. Then Risky Business got hung up and wasn't released, and I was in New York also with no money. So they did the same thing to me. I think they were doing it to all of us, maybe not Larry Beebe.
And I put a knot on my thing, and I just sat there. And I just sat there and I just waited.
But everybody went in and read for Gilbert.
I went in as Lamar. I went in some tight jeans and a shirt and had my hair and put a little, I think I put sparkles in my hair. I'm not sure back then. And they couldn't stop laughing.
They called me back and said, would you consider reading for Booger? And I remember calling Bronson Pinchot and saying, well, I'll tell you one thing. They said, I'm going to go in, but if they offer me the part of Booger, they can just fucking forget it. I'm not picking my nose on screen for anybody. And then they offered it to me, and I took it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Excuse, please, but why do they call you Booger?
I don't know.
I was indignant, but I took it.
I'd just come out of college. In fact, I was supposed to be a senior in college at the time when I was working on Happy Days. I had done this looking good calendar, and the director of the film, Jeff Kanew, was looking around, casting the role at the time, and I guess he was in Arizona looking at the university. And
Broken Hearts behind him.
Actually, I really like these suede boots that they have. Really nice. So nice. And when you walk around in those all day, you don't get a lot of calls at night from women trying to come through.
Oh, he cut a wide swath
yeah.
through Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did do some playing in anyhow, but that was towards the end.
if you needed an inn anywhere in the university, you know, it was done. It was great. They were great to us, and we had a lot of fun. Every night for dailies, you could invite in all the beautiful girls from the school. They provided sandwiches and beer, and normally, you know, dailies are very private. They usually don't even want actors to see it. This was a party. And, you know, it was Ted Fields. I think it was one of his first movies, if not his first, the guy who was producing it, and Peter Samuelson. This particular group, a lot of firsts for everybody.
The dailies was like eating a Nobu. In Malibu, it was like he was flying in lobster and shit, and there were pizzas everywhere. You know, there's beer everywhere. We were fucked up by the time the dailies were over. We were already wasted because he was like, I'm making a movie and I got $9 billion. I don't know how you do dailies, but here's how I want to do them. And it's like, yeah, let's bring Mortons in and serve these guys. They were fun.
But the cast was wild.
Those guys were always partying, and being 12, I couldn't really participate in that. But they did, in the second movie, try to help get me laid.
The feel, it was just wild. It was wild, and poor Andrew would have to sit upstairs and watch TV.
Nerds were just coming into the vernacular as a word and as a concept, and the script existed.
But frankly, I'd never really heard the word nerds until this movie. And since the movie, now there's like candy called nerds. I don't know.
It changed a lot between that point and what ended up on film. As you'll notice, I gave you a copy of the original shooting script, the one that's bound, and you'll see things in there that are very different and not in the movie. Even whole subplots and lots of scenes.
We did not want to be Porky's, and we didn't want to be Animal House. We wanted to stay our own movie.
Anthony was nervous that we were going to make a cartoon.
The script was, you know, I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't great, and it was sort of gratuitous, I thought.
The script was cute, but I didn't think it would ever, I just didn't think it would be a sellable movie.
I think it was one of those things where somebody owed somebody a favor and we had to fill this like 6-week production slot.
Oh, they wanted to lose. They also said at the time, which was fascinating, is they'd made so much money off Star Wars that they were looking for a write-off. I think it was Jedi or one of those that they'd made. They were looking for a write-off. So Fox paid for it themselves. They did all the financing.
They didn't even have like studio execs showing up on the set,
which allowed us the freedom to play. I don't think you could do that nowadays. There'd be too many people covering their ass.
There wasn't a lot on the page, and it was kind of like, it's easier to have a lot on the page. I mean, in some ways.
The script, there was other little things like that, you know, specifically gross out kind of shit.
There was a scene in the script that it was just little. I don't even think I saw it when I first read the script, but it was like, Betty does the,
well, let's put that in there because that's our target audience, you know?
It involved a banana. I've seen no more, right?
And we just like, no.
We never, ever did the scene. And I think he just kept on putting it, you know. And I was like, thank God, because, you know, okay, that would be making it like the raunchy movie. And that really, it shouldn't have been.
This is real, these are real guys, and this is really happening to them.
And that was important to me, not to make, we're not there to make fun of people's looks. We're there to represent the people who get picked on, put down, laughed at, left out, but we're not laughing at them. Maybe people who see the movie will think I'm lying, but that was what was in my mind.
I think everybody at the core of all those central characters was playing a humanity. That there was, you know, you could dial in. Each one of us had a level of humanity our characters were at. You know, we wanted to protect that in Revenge of the Nerds.
We have news for the beautiful people. There's a lot more of us in our view. You might have been called a spaz, or a dork, or a geek.
Although they were all pretty smart, and that's why they were able to live together and they got each other. But not everybody was the same kind of nerd.
These characters actually require more than just, you know, 2 seconds of work. You actually have to come up with something because you'd get caught, especially starting off a film with Jamie Cromwell, who had dialed in a character, and everybody was playing it as real as we could in it. So there was some character. You had to find the guys.
I was kind of typecast, so I was a nerd. Robert Carradine was in character from the beginning.
Well, I went to location 2 weeks early because I convinced Fox that I needed to do that to find the character. Because I was living on Mulholland, I had, you know, motorcycles and Corvettes, and I just, you know, there's no fucking way I could become Lewis in my own environment. I had to like remove myself from all of my comfort zones. And I already had the haircut, I had the glasses, and I only brought my wardrobe. So in order for me to go anywhere, I had to be dressed like Lewis. And I didn't go out of the room for 3 days.
I actually had never been a cheerleader, never been a sorority girl. So when we got to Tucson, I went to some of the sorority houses because I.
Okay, you got that out of your system. Now, Jeff was the coolest director.
Yeah.
Completely unflappable, and his coolness really helped all of us feel like this is a cool thing. It's okay. You're doing Revenge of the Nerds, and it's okay.
The door was open for everybody's input. Actors, producers, writers, me, the cameraman would have a thought, and it was all okay. You know, somebody would just toss out an idea, what about this? And we would try it.
We would sit and watch other people's takes and sit there and cheer people on, and that's unheard of in Hollywood.
I would go to the set, and I'd hang with Curtis and the nerds and everyone, and just like be there.
It wasn't about going to our trailer and getting in and getting out and being on the cell phone, or we didn't have cell phones on 84. We had them in 87.
There were many times when we would come up with bits where we would actually go back in our trailers and we'd start to run lines and we'd say, hey, what if we, and we would constantly pitch it to Jeff until he was ready to pull his hair out.
So much of the movie, so much of the stuff that rounds out the movie is stuff that we came up with on the set. Not a lot of directors would have the confidence to do that, and Jeff knew to allow us to do that, and then would take it and refine it.
And all those guys, Robert, Tony, Brian, Curtis, Tim was always the crazy one. He was always going to say, you know, I got an idea. That was always Tim. Even if it didn't work, I got an idea.
Hey, how about if I did this? You know, and like 50 of them would be bad, and one of them would be great.
I learned from him how to just keep throwing things up on the wall until they stick and not be afraid of that process.
The stuff with Poindexter and the little robot and vacuuming but that kind of stuff, moments like that are stuff we came up on the set. There's a blender moment I remember that we were.
I always see that take, and I'm always like, you know, it stings a little bit.
Bobby and Tony are on both sides of me, literally pulling me down the hall because I
The noise that comes out of my mouth is
we did the whole scene, and then at the end of the season was the ah, and then it lifts up and looks like, what the fuck was that? That hurt. It was that moment, And then there was a beat, and all I could see were shadows disappearing from the camera. And these guys kept it solid the whole time. You can hear Kanew left his laugh in the very end of the thing.
The first screening was at the little theater on the lot at Fox, and it was still a rough cut.
I had heard the buzz in town that the studio thinks it's a piece of shit.
I remember walking out of that theater thinking, man, our careers are so over.
So I thought it was kind of doomed.
When it came time for the sneak preview in Westwood, there was a line around the block. And I was like, how do they know? Who told them?
I was shocked. I was like, wow, it was funny. I mean, we knew parts of it were going to be funny, but you don't know if when it's all put together.
And we couldn't know because there wasn't a lot of winking at our humor. We were playing it straight and we were making each other laugh, but there was no way for us to know because it wasn't so broad. The movie in of itself is broad, but the performances inside it were like from when Bobby and Jamie, right from the first set of dailies, you don't know with a movie like that because you're walking a fine line.
Oh, they just think we're just making a little silly movie. It's going to be a write-off or something.
And the movie came out like in 400 theaters, and it sold them all out. And the following Monday, the guy, the Fox executive at the rough cut that said piece of shit, started getting phone calls from other studios, you know, from the executive in his position at these other studios. They're all calling up saying, why didn't you roll this out big? You didn't know what you had? And he got fired, this guy. And Fox tried to catch it, you know, by striking a whole bunch of prints as fast as they could and getting it out. But they never quite caught it the way they would have if they'd have known what they had and released it wide.
I haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds since, you know, I don't know, since after we did it. I haven't seen it. And we walked into the theater.
The movie endures because of all the stuff these guys have been saying, man. We cared. We were real people, man. It has a heart because we weren't kidding. We put our hearts in it.
It had a great afterlife, and it's been a hit in the afterlife for sure.
I think in Dodgeball at one point, Ben Stiller's character, the guy had basically, it was as if they were intentionally mocking the scene with UN Jefferson where Poindexter says, you know, according to the bylaws, whatever, and Ben Stiller's reaction to him was, okay, Poindexter.
According to your bylaws, you have to take us on a 60-day trial basis.
It's a cult film. It's a cult film. That's what, you know, it definitely is.
Because it connects. Everybody goes through, or at least more people than not go through, you know, feel like a nerd and just want their revenge.
And did I think Revenge of the Nerds was going to make any money?
In terms of a hit moneymaker type movie, when you're in one of those, it helps, you know? And then you do the sequel and it tarnishes it a little bit. And then you do the first TV movie and it tarnishes it a little bit more. Then you try to save it all with the fourth TV movie.
Fun though, because you know, every so often people will come up to me and just say, just yell nerds, just say nerds. You know, nerds! I still love it.
We're back.
Revenge of the Nerds 2. Nerds in Paradise.